Signs in the stands, you see them at midfield. David Estore passing away at too tender an age. Phil Shane alongside Matteo Bonetti, and as you can see, there is a little heaviness in the hearts, although maybe lightened a bit by the opening whistle. Here's what Argentina's going to come out with. Jorge Sampaoli, well, he's made it to the World Cup, although he admits it is Messi's team. There's no Messi today.
And maybe a 4-3-3 without Messi. Lo Celso of Paris Saint-Germain will drop in the midfield trio alongside Leandro Paredes, Lucas Biglia, who will be the deepest of the midfield three. Lanzini gets a rare start, the West Ham man, with Angel Di Maria, who's been in scintillating form in 2018 for Paris Saint-Germain. Gonzalo Higuaín, maybe not a name that brings much joy to a lot of Argentine fans, but has had another good season leading the line for Juventus.
Meanwhile, for Italy on the other side, it will be his 176th cap. Only 3 have ever earned more on the men's side. But there's a few debutants out there as well, including a promising player on the wing.
Several of these players, ones that a lot of Italians were screaming for during the qualification phase, the likes of Lorenzo Insigne, who hardly got time under Ventura. He's starting to lay under Di Biagio. In the midfield, Verratti, Parolo, and Jorginho of Napoli. Another one of those players that might be getting a lot more time under the new regime. Federico Chiesa, though, the youngster, 20 years old, that's the kind of player that Italy need to build upon for the next World Cup in 4 years' time.
Here's the black armbands on the arms of the Azzurri as we prepare for a moment of silence before the start of this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand and observe a moment of silence in memory of the Italian international Fiorentina captain David Estore, and also for Argentina 1978 World Cup winner René Hausmann, who sadly passed away yesterday.
You heard the Vamo Loco, not just for David Estore, but the former Argentine great René Hausmann, who passed away just yesterday at the age of 64. Gonzalo Higuaín, who earns his living in Italy, now looking to stick the dagger in. And the two bosses at midfield, Di Biagio and Sampaoli. And we are underway in Manchester. It is a bit chilly. Martin Atkinson, the man with the whistle here today on an English crew. Phil Shane, Matteo Bonetti as the Azzurri in blue and white. The Albiceleste, well, they are in the dark kits today. Jose Hernandez, Jaime Macias on our Spanish language side, and glad you could join us. The two bosses at midfield gesticulating. That technical area looks way too small for Sampaoli's liking. Out on the far side, overlap is on, deflected back into the middle. Playing his line is Caballero, and the offside flag will save.
First attack coming down that right-hand side. The 20-year-old Chiesa was a poor first touch, but has the awareness to see that overlapping run of Florenzi. We'll see a bit of anger perhaps in some of these players with everything that's happened in the last few months, and chance to take it out on a team that it will be going to the World Cup in Argentina. Argentina will be lining up in that 4-2-3-1. It's going to be Lo Celso playing a bit further forward than where he's normally at in Paris Saint-Germain. We saw him at PSG, Phil, playing as a holding midfielder against Real Madrid in the Champions League. Lanzini is going to be off on this right-hand side.
Well, you take a look at Willy Caballero, a man who many, including myself, as the ball splits through, to the former Manchester City man, launching it upfield. Many thought that he was good enough to earn caps. Now, perhaps as a backup, and with Geronimo Rui out injured, making his international debut at the tender age of 36.
That's incredible that Argentina, their goalkeepers, none of them starters for their side. Sergio Romero's been the backup most of his career, really, in the last 6 or 7 years, whether it's been with Sampdoria or Manchester United. And same with Caballero, the man currently in between the sticks.
And on the other side, 176 caps now for Gigi Buffon, behind only Ahmed Hassan, the Egyptian legend, Mohamed Aldea, the Saudi Arabian goalkeeper, and El Emperador, the Mexican Claudio Suarez, who we will tie in Italy's next match. And you kind of wonder, with that in mind, there are some saying maybe it's time for a switch if the Azzurri will allow Buffon to get those 6 more caps needed. Who knows, after that, maybe the first to hit 200. Sometimes when you watch him at Juventus when healthy, it seems like he could play forever.
It's slowly getting weaned down to Juventus. We're seeing Wojciech Szczesny's number 2 starting more and more. Seems very likely that it'll be the final season for Buffon, both domestically and with the Azzurri.
Out on that far flank, trying to haul it back in, Di Maria. Trying to get an idea as well. I guarantee you all of the scouts from the World Cup taking a look at what Sampaoli is doing today. Even if they're not in a World Cup, Italy, a dangerous team. Now back to that back line. Paredes joining Biglia.
Di Maria on the left-hand side. We're normally used to seeing him on the right, cutting on to his favored left foot. But even in the last week against Nice, I know Di Maria started as a left winger and still was able to score a goal. He just did it with the outside of his left boot. So reluctant to use his weaker right.
And Lanzini getting a chance out there as well. Although he's out on this right side, the West Ham player making just his 3rd appearance. On the ball, Bustos swings it inside, a swing and a miss, Higuaín, and some of the Argentine fans already moaning. Back for Di Maria, glued to his left, rifles it in, down quickly Buffon.
Good first time ball there from Fabricio Bustos. It's his first cap with his nation, first time cross, played it low right into the path of Higuaín, who completely fluffs his lines.
Little deflection there, coming off the boot of Florenzi, but Buffon read it well. You take a look at Gigi Baggio's side out here. How experimental is he? How experimental can he be, knowing that his job pretty much expires when the World Cup is over?
Well, as the interim boss, I think he's put out a decent starting 11. He's giving a chance to some of the players that have come over from the youth side. Di Biagio was the manager with both the under-20 from 2011 to 2013, and last 4 years Di Biagio's been in charge of the under-21 side of Italy. So certain players that he's gotten to know quite well. Of course, the Fiorentina winger Federico Chiesa,
just promoted from the under-21s, making his debut today. If the name sounds familiar, there might be a good reason, Matteo.
As father Enrico Chiesa, striker during the 90s in Serie A. Good heritage.
20 years of age and very promising. All the way back, Caballero, comfortable with his feet. Clears out to midfield, and to this point, both teams looking sharp on the day. It is an international friendly, so there will be wholesale substitutions, most likely up to 12 combined. But I'm sure for many of these players, as we look up in the stands, Canicia and Wayne Rooney sitting right behind. So some of these players that are already assured of their positions probably wouldn't mind an early day off. But some of the other ones that are fighting for position want to stay out there. This might be one of them. Lifted inside by Insigne, well defended by Fazio. and blasted back upfield.
Oh, it's the kind of ball that Insigne does so well at Napoli. Usually it's the Jose Callejon's runs to the far post. There he had two options. I think that that's one of the players that he will really rely upon going into the Euro 2020. Insigne didn't get a chance at the World Cup, but surely has to be one of the leaders on this front line. One of the players to provide that unexpected moment of magic.
Why do you think that was? Ball out wide for a team that was having trouble scoring goals. Under pressure, Otamendi, and he pulls it away. A player who has kind of reclaimed his reputation this season under Pep Guardiola. Fancy footwork on this near side by Lanzini, but now pinned deep. Gets rid of it to Bustos, who's now trapped. Good pressure from Italy and a slide by Lanzini. It'll be a free kick for Italy.
Going back to your earlier question, I think it was fundamentally the formation, a 3-5-2. There's not really a role for Insigne unless you play him as one of the second strikers, but when Ventura tried that, it's not like Insigne was playing all too well. Does so much better in this 4-3-3.
Years of age, his 35th cap, but has proved his worth, although one of those players that kept Insigne out in the old regime, now across the middle. Celso.
See, under Sampaoli, every single time that Argentina's keeper has the ball, he's always looking to play the ball short. The defenders want to work their way up quickly up the pitch, but to keep the ball on the ground, very much a Sampaoli staple. You saw it all the time with Chile. And he'll send the fullback so far up the pitch, Phil, that really does require one of those midfielders to drop in between the center backs. It's almost always going to be Lucas Biglia.
Ball played back as Higuaín comes deep into his own end. Giving chase was Chiesa, but Argentina getting wide. Tagliafico finding Di Maria. And there you see Tagliafico, who can play as a center back as well in a 3, but flying forward, in fact, even ahead of the winger.
And a very pacey left back, €4 million signing just now from Independiente. Ajax brought him over to Europe. And he's very much known for his pace out wide and making those overlapping runs.
Good of note, you mentioned Independiente. Fabricio, Bustos still there on the other side. So when you do have those backs that like to push forward, the other one needs to stay back. And these two have some chemistry already from their time back at Independiente. Good look at Sampaoli. The pacing starting to pick up. Intercepted, sloppy pass from Biglia. Insigne rolls it back. Chance for Verratti, who's had a quiet match so far. Insigne again.
Has to watch out, Biglia. Can't switch off like that. It could be suicidal against most teams, especially when you get to the World Cup, and sort of pass like that can really put your defense in trouble.
Ball back from Insigne to Verratti, and it's also interesting to note, don't have to go back too many years when Insigne, Immobile, and Verratti were all bursting onto the scene with Pescara, and now they find themselves on the Azzurri at the same time.
Yep. That was in Serie B as well, the Italian second division.
Now Insigne, who was on loan from Napoli, a star. Immobile trying to recover at Lazio, and Verratti, well, I wouldn't say stagnate, but there is a question as to whether he has plateaued at PSG.
Plateaued is the right word. It really is. Haven't seen any dramatic improvements in his game in the last year or two. Now 25 years young.
Here's Di Maria driving down the line. Chiesa staying back and learning a few lessons.
It's brilliant.
Di Maria drives it in, but parried away. Rugani. So much fun to watch. And in many ways, it brings back the question. You take a look at what Lionel Messi has been able to do with Barcelona. And while it is a system he is used to, long pass goes awry, Buffon will let it run. You take a look at this lineup on a national team stage, and maybe they have a few new faces in store here, but this is a team loaded with stars that can do this.
That's great. The little hesitation, like he was going to cut inside, then he bursts back to the outside. It shows you why Chiesa is not a fullback. You know, with all the talent, Phil, that this Argentina side has, so much of the talk in both the Argentine papers and in Europe has been about the players that Sampaoli has left out. He said that basically Paulo Dybala not really compatible with this current lot, and he has to see whether the players on this team right now are better for his style than Dybala. Is a question about whether him and Messi can coexist.
Giovani getting it up the line. Down goes Verratti. Chance inside, and well, it looks like it is bouncing a bit strange, and Gigi Buffon wants a new ball.
Maybe a bit of a lazy statement about Dybala that he has a free roll with Juventus. It's not like the coach Massimiliano Allegri is allowing his players to just be marauding mavericks. Dybala very much has a role. He'll pop up centrally, he'll pop up on the right hand side. He's always looking to cut in, and he's absolutely brilliant. To leave him out, to me, Phil, seems absolutely ludicrous. Bring him on as a sub. Imagine Messi goes down in the World Cup. Surely you want a Paulo Dybala off the bench?
Well, that's the key, and I'm sure many Americans can kind of understand. Sportingly put into touch here. Last World Cup that the U.S. did make, the entire team was built around Josie Altidore, who went down in the opening game, and even though they did advance, they were rather toothless following. And I think you raise an interesting point, the fact that Dybala fills many of the same places and roles that Messi does.
In a 4-2-3-1, Phil, you can play him down the middle or out wide on the right. He's played either role, whether it's been with Palermo or Juventus. Can even use him as a false nine, not that they would ever need to, with the wealth of strikers that Argentina has.
Well, it is a nice problem to have. A little shirt tug. Lanzini getting away with it. Advantage played. Back to Insigne. Haven't seen him take on a defender yet. Driven through by Jorginho, and it just skips away. Chiesa up, looking to pressure this throw in deep. And they do win it back. Take a look at Jorginho stepping in. Born in Brazil, left as a young teenager to move to Italy. Came up through the Verona system. Out comes Caballero showing his skills. And many saying Jorginho was a missing piece to the puzzle. But now they won't get a chance to put the puzzle together for 4 more years.
Yeah, and Jorginho in 4 years, suddenly you're looking at a player in his 30s, just like Insigne will be once 2022 rolls around. But with Jorginho and Verratti, suddenly that midfield has that extra creative spark. Jorginho at Napoli is the deepest one of the midfielders. He always keeps things simple, always keeps the play moving. Very organized on the ball, tidy.
Sloppy pass across by Immobile, maybe just on a different page. Quickly forward for Higuaín, tries to flip it into the middle, but too many defenders to beat. He'll have to settle for a corner.
And it was Rugani who stepped in. Those two see each other in practice nearly every single day. Rugani, who's had a very solid season, 23 years old, and
he's had to bide his time.
He's getting more and more time. Bonucci left, but now Mehdi Benatia has been playing a lot more, so Rugani hasn't been an every game starter.
This will swing away. Di Maria in the corner. Fans with their cameras out, ready to capture something. Headed down, slapped away Buffon. And Higuaín slapping his hands in frustration. 2 players flying in, and Buffon reacted well.
Great reflexes from Gigi. See who got the last touch. Was there a slightest deflection? It was Fazio and Higuaín in close proximity. Obviously Fazio at 6'5", by far the tallest player on the pitch, and by far the most dangerous set piece attacking option.
Back for Caballero. And hard to believe his first cap, and you wonder, with Rui on the mend, maybe Caballero's veteran leadership still might earn him a 3rd spot. And the fact he's getting a start here today does not hurt. beIN Sports USA, beIN Sports. That's how you can get in touch with us on Twitter. Of course, Spain coming up on Tuesday. Would expect to see Romero and Messi there. For some of these players wearing black, they won't see the field again after today. Sampaoli tries to figure out where things go. Di Maria sliding across. That's more the PSG role we've seen. Leaves it wide, and now back to Paredes.
Di Maria getting so much more time in 2018. The Neymar injury is going to have a lot to do with it.
Higuaín tries to cut back. Pinballs around for Bonucci. Pops up, and a handball, the call. Parolo saying it was a little off the hand.
Showing a bit of the scuff from the ball, maybe off his rib cage, but the arm was extended. Was Otamendi on the header? And take a look at how close this was. So Otamendi's just able to get in front of Deschillo and head that ball down so quickly.
Talk about a player who has bounced back. Always thought to be a promising defender next to Kompany a couple of seasons ago. Last year was a disaster, but this year has surged back to be considered among the best defenders in the Premier League on this very field. Lanzini, the former River man. That would be more the shot. It will be Di Maria on the serve, just past Higuaín, but players falling left and right in a foul against Argentina as Bonucci goes down. Getting pushed into from behind by Otamendi, and Bonucci didn't feel like he should keep running. Talk about Bonucci a bit, and talk about reclamation projects all in the span of a season. Thought to be the best defender on earth and one of the worst, and now perhaps back to his stellar form. Sampaoli continuing to bark. Back for Giovani. Into the corner. Good control by Verratti. Top of the 18, scooped forward, but the flag will come up to deny. The mighty might just a few yards upfield.
It was a good ball from Verratti, but Insigne made no real hurry of getting back on side as the original ball wasn't played in quick enough over the top.
That could be interesting. You talked about the biggest player in Federico Fazio. Well, Insigne the littlest at about 5'4", and amazing to see what he's done this season. Verratti with the strong challenge.
Bit of a derby della capitale as well between Fazio and Ciro Immobile, Lazio and Rome players respectively.
Quick movement across by Insigne. Florenzi, and he put too much on it. Slips away from Chiesa, who's had a bit of a frustrating start.
Bit of a slick pitch, and again it's an overhead pass. Very easy here from Florenzi, all the time in the world just to lay it off to Chiesa. Not sure why he's put so much behind it, but you're right, Chiesa's hardly been able to get on the ball so far. The only time he's been involved has been defensively.
And that was watching Di Maria blow past. It's one of the reasons you put him out there in a match like this.
And look how many bodies Italy's pushing forward. They know that Caballero wants to play that ball short to the defenders and win it right back. It's a good shot from the Azzurri.
Back for Bonucci. 76th cap for the now Milan mainstay. Up for Giovani. Just his 5th. Is this the pairing going forward?
I think you also have to put in Chiellini at least for the next few years, Phil.
And with Chiellini,
questions about Romagnoli as well, who's done a lot better in the second half of the season alongside Bonucci, but definitely not started of options. You also have Mattia Caldara.
Do you think the 3-back is still in the future?
Don't think so anymore. Not without Ventura. Unless Conte comes back.
Could happen. Chipped across, deflection keeps it wide. Di Maria pulls it back, flying in Chiesa, but Di Maria steals, drives into the 18 and plucked away. Beautiful.
Oh, it's
and
excellent.
now Verratti with some magic.
Very quick start though from Di Maria. Every time he has the ball, he wants to go at defenders. Another mazy run, continuing his league form where he absolutely tore Nice to shreds. And every time, Chiesa's forced to come back and help out. Right there, evading challenges, good balance to stay on his feet.
And Florenzi with some good defense. Bit of a concern there. Di Maria again more likely to pass. Line just outside the 18. Now Argentina moves in all the way across, looking for Tagliafico, but the Shillo was pushed down in the process. Bit of a concern as Bustos seems to be limping on this near side, the debutant from Independiente. And he doesn't want to go out, but he's finding it hard to stand up. Looks like he took a hit on the hip. You have Gabriel Mercado available on the bench if they wish. Although Mercado, a known quantity and not getting any younger, taken away as Argentina pushes forward. Driving in, Higuaín tries to go back, and look at that. Insigne with some defense.
And so far, those wide men of Italy have been forced to do so much of the defensive duties, helping out their fullbacks as Argentina constantly get their wingers and fullbacks forward to combine.
Lanzini in. Celso didn't hear the footsteps, and it's poked free. Buffon.
Yeah, in typical Sampaoli fashion, all of his national teams have that in common. The fullbacks essentially play as wingers. That allows players like Lanzini on one side and Di Maria to really tuck inside, much closer to Higuaín.
Nice burst of speed from Insigne, drags it across. Out comes Caballero just in time.
I faked that he was going to go over the top. He had options at the far post, instead played it low. Understanding from those two from their days at Pescara, but Caballero so quickly off his post.
Not bad for a 36-year-old. Well, we are past the midway point. There have been some flurries, and especially from Argentina, maybe a bit more on the front foot. Sampaoli's satisfied, or what do you think he's still looking for from this opening half?
Well, it's difficult to say fluidity because it very much is an experimental lineup. A lot of his key players not in the starting 11. Players like Ever Banega as well, who should be in charge of orchestrating things for Argentina in the midfield alongside Biglia. Of course, a certain number 10 might have heard of him.
On this near side, Bustos forced to retreat.
Just a bit of a muscle problem for Messi, keeping him out from the start.
Strained muscle, they say. Although I do have a feeling he will be out there for Spain in just a few days' time. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him step onto the field just to stretch things out a bit before this one is over. Tagliafico. Di Maria. Inside is Biglia. Paredes pushing forward just a bit, turning that triangle upside down.
Again, look at Biglia, always acting as one of the three center backs, is how deep he's been playing.
Sliding across Lanzini, thought about the center. Wide for Di Maria, whips it in for Higuaín. Cleared away. See how tight De Chillo is pinched in on this left side, with Argentina really going up their left wing. The Italian defense has slid across. Bonucci calm. Rolo in for Verratti, who gets taken down. And a whistle for Martin Atkinson. Just the 4th appearance for Jorginho. Now across is Bonucci, looking long. Back in for the Napoli man. Verratti trying to drop it in a bit of desperation on the header, but Otamendi knew what he was doing.
Verratti, when he's on the ball, he's always scanning his options downfield. He always takes chances with those incisive balls. It's another dangerous giveaway from Caballero.
Strong challenge, but Verratti had to pull out. Far side. Florenzi back into the middle, flying across Fazio. It'll be a throw in about box high for Italy.
And you're seeing when Caballero has the ball, look how many players for Italy are pushing up the pitch. They're always limiting that short option. That takes away what Sampaoli wants to do to reset possession. Always wants his defenders to build up the play, but had certainly some better playing center backs with Chile than he has now in Argentina.
Down at the bottom of the screen, you see Sampaoli actually in the box now. Much of the game he's been patrolling outside, almost as though he was trying to be an extra defender. Fouled against Verratti. Talked about Dybala not getting called in. In my mind, the fact that Icardi was not called in might be the bigger surprise.
Well, given all the locker room stuff, Phil, I think it's two completely different animals there.
Although you thought that might have been put to bed when he was called in recently. And it's not as though Higuaín has been knocking in goals for his country, even though for the club they've been flying in with regularity. Bonucci. Harassed. Advantage played, but then, and in fact, as the advantage disappeared on the poor back pass, Atkinson brings it back to the foul.
Does well there. Verratti knows that he's closed down, so he's so good at absorbing the contact from behind to get out of a sticky situation. Knows the foul's coming. Thing
15
is,
minutes left.
With Icardi, it's either going to be him or Immobile to finish top scorer in Serie A.
It's an interesting question. If he does come out the Capocannoniere and still doesn't get called up for the World Cup. Offside the call.
Maybe something for the tabloids, but I wonder, Phil, is there something in that old story about his fallout in the dressing room after what happened with him in his personal life? Something that's, well, this isn't the time or place to really get into it, but not exactly part of the honor system. Unless you care to explain, Phil. I know you're a big gossiper.
Oh, let me flip over to the Daily World, page 3. I think it might be there. Far side. Flying in is Di Maria. Chiesa trying to force him back. Of course, had to do with his wife Wanda, who was married at the time, although the one thing is they are still married with children a decade later, so you'd kind of figure maybe there was some real romance. Di Maria whips it across. Higuaín 3 steps late. Buffon right on time. Another collision and another foul. Higuaín's frustration starting to build.
I'm not sure if he really has an excuse for that one. Verratti again knows that the contact is coming. He does well to use his body to shield the ball. Draws the contact.
Slammed away, couldn't get out of the way. Otamendi will take the throw. Well, it's kind of interesting because there might be a few more choices for Sampaoli if he wishes. The emergence of Joaquin Correa at Sevilla
Lautaro as well, Phil. Lautaro, the brilliant youngster.
Although could see him almost in a Dybala role, but the soon-to-be Interman from Racing has been phenomenal. And Sergio Aguero, who had been thrown on the trash heap, well, from garbage into goals again for Manchester City, and he's kind of forced his way back in the picture. Might see him in the second half. Cross for Biglia. Back for the former Anderlecht man. Burst of speed poked free briefly, though, by Argentina. Mentioned Aguero. He was a late scratch along with Lionel Messi, and you see both of them up in the stands. Try and keep Messi as far away from the field even when he is injured. Hard to keep him out of the lineup. Italy trying to retreat to build the wall. Argentina trying to build the shot. It appeals for a handball, unrewarded by Atkinson.
Again, a dangerous play from Angel Di Maria. Always looking to take on defenders, quick feet in possession. He's looking like he's playing some of his best football. I haven't seen him this crisp since his days at Real Madrid.
Flying forward, Bustos. Back curls Lanzini to clear it up again. The two doing well on this right side. Di Maria has been the target on the left, though. Tries to pull it down. Maybe heard the footsteps of Florenzi and shies away. Jorginho pistoning back. Over for Lucillo. Verratti back. And Jorginho wide. There's some good movement from the Azzurri. Maybe a little greedy as they tried to cut back across.
Thought Italy would be able to exploit the fact that Tagliafico's always making his way up and try to really unleash Chiesa down that right, but so far has not been involved whatsoever. Has hardly been able to get on the ball and combine with Florenzi. Good to see Fazio, though, getting rewarded. He's been so solid for Roma in the last 2 seasons. Had a really tough spell. For anyone watching that's mostly watched the Premier League, won't have good memories of him at Tottenham. But even at Sevilla was considered one of the better center backs in La Liga.
Quickly forward, cutting inside Di Maria, dragging Florenzi with him, back out wide, tries to square, but again, no one making the run. There was a deflection. At least it appeared to be. Di Maria unrewarded.
Well, Florenzi does well there to try to take out the inside for Di Maria, forces him out.
There, the earlier play off the midsection. Well, you mentioned Fazio. For Sevilla, Mercado has moved more to the inside this year, but for the national team, still out wide. Pressure again from Argentina. Higuaín. Patience, though, from Bonucci, not from Buffon. It wouldn't have counted anyway, but Bonucci a little hesitant, and it almost cost him.
Dangerous ball from Bonucci, usually so assured in those positions, but tries to find a lane that just isn't there. Take another look at this as Bonucci does well right there to cut out the lane, but very quick thinking from Argentina and diving in the passing lane. He made himself a little bit too easy to read, Bonucci.
Again, not that he never made mistakes with Juventus, but it was problems like that that cost him in the first half of this season with Milan.
Absolutely. But has really rounded into form. Developed a nice partnership with Romagnoli now at the back for the Milan side, led by Gennaro Gattuso.
Talk about Fazio, and I'm wondering whether he has fully grabbed hold of that spot. The 31-year-old Roma international able to parry that one away. Looks as though the former Dallas resident Ramiro Funes Mori, now with Everton, had locked that one down, and still just 27, but a bit of a rough start to the season, and that's opened the door. Tagliafico Thought about it, pulls it back. Biglia tried to split through, but Verratti was ready, forced to commit the foul though.
It's better from Biglia when he gets the ball. He's in between the two center backs, making positive runs to try to split the lines.
Into the center, looking Lo Celso, waits, deflected away. Parolo though. Back for Rugani. Didn't look comfortable, but he finds his target, deflected forward, then touched back to safety. 7 minutes of regulation remain. We talked about from a Sampaoli perspective. From Di Biagio, what has he seen from this first half so far?
Well, not much fluidity going forward, but in the midfield, some decent combinations between Verratti and Jorginho. The idea of this 4-3-3 is probably to be a bit better in possession, a bit more aesthetically pleasing as well in the center of the park.
Lanzini drags two with him, pulls it back. Biglia to the middle, long range blast that bounces wide from Paredes.
Oh, he definitely has that in his arsenal, Paredes. How many times have we seen him really test the goalkeeper from distance? That's why he's playing a little bit further forward than Biglia. You want him to get in this position just outside the box. It was actually an in-swinger. I think that might have just clanged off the post. Buffon couldn't take any risks there.
Now playing his football in Russia, so maybe that could be an advantage as well. Always nice to have someone around who knows the language and where the restroom is. Zenit St. Petersburg for Paredes. '40th minute, halfway done. Just enough of a trip by Higuaín. Quick touch into the middle. Insigne trying to split the defense. Deflected and almost makes it through. Tagliafico goes the other way, but intercepted before it finds Higuaín, and a foul in the midfield.
And if Tagliafico doesn't make that touch, Chiesa's off to the races. Had to get in the way.
One thing with Chiesa, and again as a new player, Argentina maybe not knowing what to expect, but loves to cut inside and can be equally dangerous down the line or cutting in to shoot. As you point out, he has had no chances. Jorginho, token pressure it appeared, and the pass goes awry. Biagio not happy. Italy sputtering a bit as this first half winds to a close. It will be Spain on Tuesday. Italy, meanwhile, has a showdown at Wembley with England. Well, they might be missing Harry Kane. Still, was it 16-1? And that second batch for England. Di Maria sees it sail in front.
Just a few seconds ago, Parolo looked to be shouting at Insigne. He wanted more pressure from the Napoli winger. When the defenders for Argentina have the ball, Verratti and Parolo are pushing high up the pitch, trying to win it back.
Pressured again, winning it back. Touch into the box, trying to split the defense, but able to get rid of it. Now this is why Insigne saves his energy. A burst of speed forward, trying to touch it in, but Immobile maybe a little too immobile. Now down the other way, dropping it back. Lanzini. Higuaín peels away. Tagliafico wide. Di Maria bangs it off of Florenzi. They'll get the throw in. Mentioned it is a bit of a chilly day. While you might see a few empty seats, temperature in the 40s. Someone apparently forgetting to tell Mother Nature it's spring. Celso, Fazio, Biglia, ball touched to the inside, laid back. Higuaín trying to find a path forward, denied by Buffon. The shot from Tagliafico from distance.
Even before the shot, great passing combination from Argentina, stringing together 30-40 passes in a row, working their way, pinning every Italian player into their own half until finally getting a decent shot at Buffon. And Tagliafico's been impressive the way he's been able to get forward, and most of the damage coming down this left-hand side when Di Maria and Tagliafico combine.
Chance on the turnover midfield. Lanzini to the top of the 18, but dribbles into the trap and can't come out. Soft touch in Insigne, but credit to Biglia charging back and had the momentum.
Feels like the front men now for Italy a bit too isolated. Insigne has gotten the ball several times, but he really doesn't have many players forward to combine with. Everyone in such a defensive shell. I think it's more a product of the way that Argentina building into this game, growing into it.
Well, they do have 4 shots so far, none for the Azzurri. If there is anything positive, it's the man who had retired after failing to qualify, showing he still has what it takes. Of course, Buffon said it was the passing of Astori, his longtime friend, that led him to decide to stick around for a bit longer. Nice from Di Maria into the area. Higuaín, and what a stop by Buffon. Had to reach back against the grain to deny Higuaín.
Oh, he's absolutely eternal. Knows a thing or two about Higuaín. He sees the kinds of shots that he takes in practice all the time. But this ball from Di Maria is sensational. It's a big mistake from Florenzi, who just allows Higuaín to get in behind him. But again, that quality of the ball from Di Maria, in my mind, has been Argentina's best player. And Buffon thought that it was going to go near post, but he still leaves that glove extended. It's brilliant goalkeeping as usual from Gigi.
Buffon denies Argentina again just before the break, and we go to the dressing room as the 2 teammates, one smiling for real, the other a little sheepishly. Stick around. In the way, and the 40-year-old netminder showing no signs of slowing down. If there was a hero in the match from the opening half, it's the guy wearing number 1 for Italy. Second half underway. Martin Atkinson blows the whistle. Argentina wearing the black will move from right to left, and defending the goal to the left, it is the white and blue of Italy. Jose Hernandez, Jaime Macias on our Spanish language side. Phil Shane alongside Matteo Bonetti, and glad you could join us. Gigi Buffon, 4 saves in the opening half, Matteo. And if there was a good spot for the Azzurri, it's there. If there has been a sore spot, it might be the man we just saw there getting called offside in Lorenzo Insigne. A few flashes, but nothing at the end.
It's not often you want your player of the half to be the goalkeeper. It tells you very much how this went. Argentina monopolizing possession for large stretches of the game, creating the best chances. Nothing even close to a goal for Italy when they have ventured forward.
Out on that far flank, Insigne using his speed. Otamendi staying with him. Man City defender forcing the pass back. Jorginho. And then the foul against Otamendi.
We've seen some signs from this combination of Jorginho and Verratti together, both very able with the ball at their feet. But it's been mostly Argentina, always building up from the back slowly, trying to employ a high line up the pitch. And then Angel Di Maria, so often at the center of everything going right for them when they do venture into the final third.
Insigne, 22nd appearance. 5 to choose from in the box. Looks into the middle, punched away nicely by Caballero and off to the near side. Well, looks like it might have trickled up and over. I think Lo Celso had an argument, but it's going to go Italy's way.
Several terrific deliveries from Insigne when he's on his right foot on that side of the pitch. The way he's always trying that in-swinger to the far post, forcing Caballero to come out and meet it.
Argentina's last friendly was a 4-2 loss against Nigeria back in November. Of course, that a bit experimental. They did go to Russia and walk away with a 1-0 victory. Meanwhile, the November friendlies for Italy, or the November performances for Italy, were not friendly. Ball played square into the middle. Insigne! Oh. And how did he miss? Beautiful ball from Immobile. And Insigne pings it off the support stanchion.
Phil, it's a shocking ball here from Paredes. Argentine midfielder, take a look at this. What is he thinking with this ball? It's a blind pass. There's 2 Azzurri players in the vicinity. Not sure why you'd ever try to go back to the defender in that position. But from here, surely Insigne's got to do better, at least putting it in between the pipes. Does he lose his plant foot as he's going to ground? Take another look at this. Oh, it's absolutely shocking. First the giveaway from Paredes, and then the final attempt from Insigne.
Again, maybe more would be read into it if there was a World Cup on the horizon, but those are the plays you cannot afford to miss. And what a play from Immobile. Give him credit. Drew the defense, snuck the pass through Otamendi, and it should be 1-0 Italy.
Well, Phil, I don't think Immobile ever thought that an Argentine player would even dare play the ball in his vicinity.
Play on. Scrambling up that far side. Now something to prove. Insigne. Another gift pass the other way, though. Jorginho into the middle for Higuaín. Pops up on Di Maria. Chips it into the middle. And now an open header from just 6 yards out. And it's Argentina's turn to hold their head in their hands. Lanzini.
Not known for his aerial ability. Good ball there from Higuaín. And here Di Maria. He's reluctant to cut inside when he's on this left wing. So on his favored left foot. With the legend watching on. Knew how close that could be.
No Messi, no Aguero. Both scratches as would expect to see them both against Spain on Tuesday. Cut to the inside, the Chillo. Wide Insigne screaming for the ball. Parolo dummied it through, and good cover Argentina. Again, Lo Celso. Had to play a little bit more on that defensive side for PSG than in his Central past. We haven't seen much creative from Lo Celso so far today. Di Maria has been another story. Sneaks it across, bouncing in the 6, gobbled up by that man, Buffon. Things getting stretched a bit. Insigne looking for Immobile. Nice tackle, Otamendi. Talking about those matches in November against Sweden. When you think about it, missing out on the World Cup by what is arguably a single goal. Could not find the net in 2 matches against Sweden.
There's just no excuses, are there? And credit to Sweden, the way they defended, especially going to the San Siro in front of that crowd. And it was really toothless. I want to see the old manager, Giampiero Ventura, taking a lot of stick.
Bonucci not happy as he gets whistled for a foul against his former teammate. Atkinson, who's shown 5 reds and called 3 penalties in the Premier League this season, has had a relatively easy match so far between these two. Normally you don't use the word easy when you talk about Argentina or Italy. Flying through Immobile, 1 back Argentina on the overlap. Di Maria went to the well once too often. Ball out for Chiesa, who gets slammed into a defender, down hard, and finally the whistle will blow.
It's just a studs as well that caught him. Stomped on his foot. Very quiet game from the youngster. Very much seen as the future of Italy in one of those wide positions at least.
Looked like he might have hit hard and lost his air as well, trying to catch his breath a bit.
Look at this ball, though, from Paredes. Really is an absolutely shocking back pass, and all the time in the world to measure up with Caballero coming off his post. It's a kind of shot that he put away 99 times out of 100.
And talk about Caballero. This is his debut, and in many ways that will be a moment to remember, regardless of what happens from this point out. If he had not come out, if Insigne would have had a split second more, but he didn't, thanks to the Chelsea netminder. Curling ball on the overlap, chance for Bustos, back in for Lanzini.
Now, if there's a weakness on this Argentine team, Phil, goalkeeper, maybe the fullback positions, a lack of experience there.
Maria with his right foot. Bonucci will clear.
But with their goalkeepers, several of them that have been called up, not starters on their club team, certainly don't have a world beater in between the sticks.
Take a look at the bench, and you wonder, Chiesa, who's taken a bit of a nick in his debut, Insigne, who's shown some good signs but has missed the golden opportunity. You wonder whether their time might be running out. It is a friendly, so 6 subs is, to give you an idea, the fans making the wave to keep themselves amused and warm. 10 minutes into the second half, still no subs.
And for Italy, one of the big problems has been that connectivity between the midfield and the attack. They just don't hold the ball enough to bring a lot of the players forward, especially the fullbacks and down the middle. And so often, both Insigne and Chiesa are just forced to do the defensive duties, doubling up on Argentina's players that are streaking forward.
You look, you have Jacopo Bonaventura on the bench, someone that tends to fill that gap.
Well, as one of the players can run at a defender and really break in between the lines, it's exactly what Italy need.
Verratti trying to do that single-handedly, drags it forward. Help in the middle as Chiesa moves, but they retreat to Insigne. Back for Jorginho, scoops it up, didn't get much distance. Back to Verratti as the wave makes its way around again. Musillo, the target man, cleared well nicely by Biglia, and now a collision on that far flank is again the frustration getting to Italy. Hammered. The West Ham man draws the oh no, they're not even going to say a free kick, just a throw in for Argentina. You hear the chants of Messi in the background, and along with their own Sergio Aguero, unavailable today for Jorge Sampaoli. Little touch, dropping back Otamendi. Little help met on the volley, blocked by Desillo. Lo Celso far side, but won by a bit more focused Insigne. Messi chant picking up in intensity. This game does need a bit of magic. Di Maria can provide from 30, but a hopper into the arms of Buffon and no real danger.
And Buffon deals so easy with balls that might trouble other goalkeepers, especially those shots that are coming in with a considerable amount of pace, but that did just take that little hop right in front of the goalkeeper, and sometimes that can be a tricky ball to deal with. And that's where you normally see a lot of those bobbles. Not from Gigi, though.
Talk about substitutions. Ciro Immobile has not done much, although he did create what should have been a goal.
And the other strikers that they can bring on, Cutrone, the youngster from Milan, who's currently Milan's top scorer in all competitions, and Andrea Belotti, although he's had a really poor season compared to his near 30-goal campaign.
So again, maybe one trying to rebuild his reputation, the other trying to make it in the perhaps debutant Cutrone. Again, as you see some of the Argentines sprinting back, look like Ever Banega at the tail end. Some of these players in their last few moments of the game. Chiesa across and almost met Insigne, but slapped away by Caballero. Out for Higuaín. Has Di Maria, but it took too long to find him.
Good defending there from Florenzi. Cut off the angle. So that Di Maria might have had to step on Bonucci, assuming that through ball did get played, which it did. And again, the crowd, only one name on their lips. Constant chance of Messi. That's the player that they paid the big bucks to see. Well, pounds in this part of the world.
Of the players that have been out there, Rugani pinned wide on that left flank has looked pretty good in the back. In fact, of the two center backs paired with Bonucci, he's probably been the more consistent on the day.
Rugani really is pure finesse. Reminds a lot more of Andrea Barzagli than he does of Chiellini. That's why he's a nice foil to Chiellini's style. Good compliment.
Florenzi tees it up for Chiesa, likes to cut inside, but credit to Tagliafico, he knew it. The Bonfield boy out wide. Di Maria trying to sneak it through. Good cover. Parolo retreats. Quick touch Verratti. That's where he's at his best. Now chipping it in. Settled. Shot. And Immobile denied. Corner kick upcoming.
Oh, it's a genius ball from Verratti. Now the midfielder is starting to push a little bit higher, and that's the kind of position where Verratti's never looking to shoot. Gets the ball, quickly scanning for his options, and on his quote-unquote weaker left foot, he delivers a pearl to Immobile, who's been finishing everything in Serie A, but on the national team, just like a lot of his teammates, taking a step down.
Well, the hour is here, is the man in swinger. Set wide, trying to tee it up Florenzi, and on the second effort, it's even worse. Well, it was a day where we were looking for new faces, and it ends up being two of the old guys. The 40-year-old Buffon, the 36-year-old Caballero, that have been the stars of the match, and now time for some changes for the blue.
Well, first one is Zappacosta for Florenzi. That's going to be like for like at the right back position. Zappacosta just joined Chelsea. Pellegrini in the midfield, another Roma player. Another one of the youngsters that's tipped to be the future.
So, Argentina, still no changes. And the changes for Italy not getting a chance here is Caballero again out. Zappacosta for Florenzi. Candreva for Chiesa. And both of those revitalizing that right side of the Italian team, with Parado in. Barolo out make that. And how does this change things for the Azzurri?
Going to get a little bit more push from Pellegrini on the ball.
Ball whipped in and punched away. Candreva. Caballero again called to the rescue.
And Candreva, not an inverted winger. He just likes to stay to the outside and provide a steady stream of crosses in for Immobile. Helps out Icardi so much at Inter.
'53rd cap for the Inter man, Candreva now. beINSports.com with all of the latest, plenty more to come, including some other action available already on beIN Sports Connect. Morocco, Serbia, Poland, Nigeria. Check out beINSports.com for more. Immobile sliding outside, tries to thread it forward for Insigne. One back at the top of the 18, played square. Again, Candreva lifts, looks. Thought about going wide, but now retreats for Jorginho. Well, when we talk about Candreva being a bit more experienced, for Zappacosta, just his 8th appearance and just the 2nd for Pellegrini. Celso slow to get up.
Been rewarded for his increased playing time with Paris Saint-Germain. He could hardly get a game last season, but now with PSG in that crowded midfield, he's been able to pick out a role just in front of the back line. There's that excellent ball over the top from Verratti to find Immobile. Just not able to get it by the brilliant Caballero. Stayed strong, stayed upright. Maybe anticipating a little chip over the top.
Well, Di Maria's day is done. Rotti will check in.
It's a massive Roma influence right now on the pitch for both teams. Perotti and Fazio for Argentina.
Di Maria a bit more on the flamboyant side. Perotti more explosive. It looks like Ever Banega is also in, and there you see him signaling in the center of the park. Maybe for Paredes.
I do expect him to be a starter. Ever Banega has some brilliant performances for Sevilla this season.
Quickly down into the corner, well covered by Argentina. Otamendi over. Lifts it down the line for Higuaín. Pops up and a handball.
And Perotti's playing on the opposite flank of where he normally lines up for Roma, which is on the left wing. He has moved off to the left now. Loves to cut in.
Named after the one and only Diego Maradona. Of course, his father, quite familiar player back in the day with the legend. Now all the way back in Buffon, who has had a quiet opening quarter hour in the second half, especially considering how busy he was in the first. And it looks like it is Paredes who is the player that came out for Banega. So Biglia and Lo Celso stay out there. And another playmaker on the proven side. In a topsy-turvy few seasons for Ever Banega, but back at the Sevilla side, a bit more on the upside than he was in his season at Inter. Bonucci again a bit lazy. That one almost stays in. Smiles all around. Of course, they know what's coming up this summer. That's the real goal. Will there be smiles in the Italy dressing room after this? Scoreless draw against a World Cup favorite.
Against not a full strength World Cup favorite, though, and without Messi, it's not the same Argentina, is it? When he's out on the pitch, everything goes through him. Well, it's the first time that Italy have been in this situation, so I'm sure even for the players and most people even watching on won't remember the last time that Italy didn't make a World Cup. It's back in 1958 when it was in Sweden, out of all countries.
Ancient history. Of course, a certain legend started on that day. Ball across for Immobile, flips it wide for Insigne, drives it into the middle, and they will swing it over. Perotti, the target, headed back away, and now back to midfield where Italy will regroup. Banega, by the way, a goal scorer the last time these two teams met, as the ball through for Insigne. Still onside, drives it in. Caballero will clear to the top of the box. Italy again towards the corner. And Caballero hops over to make the grab.
Sensational ball from Verratti. Take a look at this. He gets a ball from Jorginho. He plays it. It looks to be just onside from Insigne, who sneaks behind that back four that wasn't in a straight line. I think he was being kept on by Otamendi, who wasn't in line with the rest of the defense. Terrific ball again from Verratti. He's really growing to the game. He's been providing these brilliant, incisive passes, nearly set up Immobile with a goal. And now Insigne with a great chance, and he didn't elect to square it across. He had Immobile making his way into the box, but from that narrow of an angle, Insigne looking to just bend it with a finesse shot.
Well, 3 subs left for Italy, 4 for Argentina. Back for Biglia. Forward for Celso. Wide for Perotti. And not exactly sure what Higuaín was trying to do, but it slips just underneath in frustration for Sampaoli.
Maybe a quick back heel touch, just rapidly spin around Bonucci. Trying to go for the audacious here, Higuaín.
Only Hassan, Aldaye, and Suarez with more caps than Buffon. And he will tie the Emperor when Italy takes on England on Tuesday, if he plays. And you take a look at that really with the moment with the goalkeeping situation. Is there a favorite? Donnarumma and beIN both called in and backing up today.
I think it'd be Donnarumma, heir apparent. Although you can't really go wrong with beIN. What a lovely save that was from Caballero. He anticipated Insigne maybe to go with the selfish shot on goal.
Sliding it forward, Verratti, but off target. Quickly back in the middle for Higuaín. His shot parried away. Now a bit of fast footwork for Candreva. Immobile wide on this right side, and the pass just behind. Candreva faster than he appears. On the other side, to talk about heir apparents, and Rui had been in perfect position. Many thought he'd be playing on this field for Manchester City, but sent him back for a bit more seasoning to Sociedad, but getting injured at the worst possible time, but the best time for Caballero, who gets a chance to fulfill a dream. And while it is still scoreless, in large part that's due to the heroics of the 2 senior citizens in the nets. Banega and Perotti off. And it looks like there's going to be another change upcoming for Italy. Verratti going to the sidelines and seems to be in some distress. And it's Brian Cristante who gets the call.
Looks like it was the hamstring that was bothering Verratti.
That might scratch him from Tuesday. So Cristante stepping on. Ball inside towards the 6, cleared and rifled up and over. So close for Diego Perotti.
Great technique as well. He just had that ball bounce in front of him. He settles it well, catches it just on the hop. And absolutely no nonsense, going purely for power to try to just put this one right into the top corner. It was Bonucci who headed it right into Perotti inadvertently. Player that just came on for Italy, Cristante, has been having a marvelous season for Atalanta. Has even developed into quite a goal-scoring threat from that midfield position. He always likes to break forward.
Quickly out wide for Banega. Seems to be a bit more rhythm picking up in this Argentine side. You talk about Cristante, just his second appearance.
Cristante also represents, or could have represented, Canada. He's Italo-Canadian, holds a Canadian passport.
His dad, Canadian, but electing to go with Italy. And I'm sure he was kind of hoping there might be a World Cup at the end of that rainbow. There still might be. It's just 4 years further away. Flipped out wide by Banega. Bustos back to the inside. Now Biglia. Little slip for Tagliafico. Drives to the inside and creates a bit more room. Fabricio Bustos. Back for Banega. Patient build up here as they eat up the ground and pin Italy deeper. Out wide, Perotti gets the ball in. Bonucci touches it away. It'll be a corner surrendered to Argentina. And it looks like more changes coming in. Another change for Italy, their 5th substitution. And Ciro Immobile's day is done. Had a couple of memorable moments. But speaking of a memorable moment here for Italy, it will be the debut of the 20-year-old Patrick Cutrone.
Immobile unable to recreate his club form where he had 24 goals in 26 appearances for Lazio this season. And Cutrone has come out of nowhere to be Milan's starter up front. Straight from the youth system of the Rossoneri. And Milan's top goal scorer this season in all competitions. Very hard working, and what really strikes you about Cutrone is his positioning. Well beyond his ears, his movements inside the box, not the most technical, but his understanding of the game, where to be, and that sense for goal that you can't teach. Reminds a bit of Inzaghi. Sorry, Phil.
I was going to say, it is Inzaghi that he is being compared to, because positioning, not so much in where to be, but how he gets there. And now maybe a chance the other way. Dropping it back for Banega, drags through 2, gets it back on the pass, left foot low, beats Buffon, top of the box, and the goal has broken the ice as Ever Banega finally puts it in the net.
A string of 1-2s here for Argentina, and Ever Banega just passes this one into the bottom corner. It's all smiles from Agüero and Messi. No Messi, no problem at the moment, as it's Banega who just came on as Jorginho gets this possessed, just trying to do a bit too much, not getting rid of the ball quick enough with 3 Argentines ready. Not able to get that standing challenge in the way to win the ball back, and pays the ultimate price. Lovely 1-2 there. Lo Celso with the return ball, and then a lovely diagonal shot from Banega. So good when he does make his way forward outside the box. Those quick feet.
Couldn't tell who the first give and go was with, but the second one in tight space. Maybe the sign of a team that's starting to peak. So after helping to set things up, Giovani Lo Celso will now get to take a seat. And it's Christian Pavón who will step on in his place.
Bit of a quiet game from Lo Celso, but certainly getting a good teaching now at Paris Saint-Germain. More time domestically has meant an inclusion in the Argentine national team and a chance for the coach Sampaoli to get a good look at him against a very good opposition.
And if there is a PSG midfielder who shone today, it would be Lo Celso.
No, Verratti, Phil. Several of those balls should have led to some goals. Could have had 2 assists had the finishing been better.
But Lo Celso does have an assist, and we'll see how this one plays out. Final quarter hour. Kept alive. Won back by Higuaín. Wants it back, gets it back. Early ball forward in a bit of a foot race. So now for Italy, again, more of a testing ground. How do they respond going a goal down?
Really the last time Italy had a good memory in the World Cup, 2006, more than a decade ago. The last 2 times they were there, couldn't get out of the group stage. Couldn't get out of the group stage in 2010, Phil, against a really weak group overall. Paraguay, New Zealand, Slovakia.
Needed goals then, needed goals now, and they need one here today.
And in 2014, of course, the rise of Costa Rica, who managed to get out of Italy's group, that also had England and Uruguay, both the European nations bowing out early.
Threaded forward. Charge down the line. Andreva wants it back. Poke free. Zappacosta. And now a foul against the new right back. As you said, bit of a Roma revival going on at the Etihad.
Another look at that string of 1-2s. Lovely return ball there from Lo Celso. And he just goes diagonally across goal.
And it's a quick thinking that's able to get past Buffon for the opening goal of the match. And for Eber Banega, just his 6th goal for the Albiceleste. 80th minute. Chilly night in Manchester. Italy will stick around. Poor clearance out of the back as they look to try and get the equalizer. But reclaimed by Argentina. Perotti. Higuaín trying to flick the ball on. Fouled by Bonucci, his former teammate. If you're Sampaoli, if you're Argentina, you do have a goal to the good now. But you also come away with a few concerns heading in towards the World Cup.
Oh, more than anything, Phil, I think you'll have a better understanding of some players that were on the fringes, some players that he wanted to see what could they deliver in the starting 11. Players like the young Paredes as a holding midfielder who I didn't think had a good performance. Lanzini, who drifted in and out of the game. And who knows, maybe because of a poor performance for a player on the fringes, maybe that opens up the door for Paulo Dybala. Again, I can't believe that this is something we're talking about
forward, but a good step up on this near side by Tagliafico.
Yeah. And there's the sort of run that Cutrone loves making on the shoulder of the last defender, always looking to peel off and get that through ball into space.
Tagliafico again. Not playing like a player that came in with just one cap. And now over to his former Independiente teammate Bustos, making his debut. Back across for Tagliafico. With the goal, spreading it around Argentina, trying to draw Italy out. Little gap for Tagliafico, drives inside, Biglia, back Lanzini, Perotti. Lanzini's been given a bit of free rein here today, left and right, now doubling up with Perotti on this left flank. Banega draws the foul. On the other side, well, this is just a friendly for Di Biagio. What was he trying to get out of this? What were the goals? What were the targets? And have they achieved them?
Oh, I think a revival for the Azzurri is the most important thing. A change of formation, going away from that old, tired 3-5-2 of Ventura, going to a 4-3-3 that I think gets the best out of key players in the midfield and in the wide positions, and also allowing the next generation of Italian internationals to really start making a name for themselves. Likes of Chiesa in the midfield. There's like Jorginho, who weren't really used too much in the old regime.
Well, we're approaching 300 minutes without a goal. The last time they found the net was against Albania. Now Argentina a little stiffer than Albania, but have they really answered much? They've given a few, as you said, opportunities to some new faces, but it hasn't cashed in yet. Biglia. Ball all the way across, but it does not stay in, and it looks like there will be a chance now for Italy to make one more change.
That's going to be Gallo Belotti, the rooster who hasn't oh, watch out.
That was moments ago, that little whoosh you heard from the crowd.
A bit of a lazy first touch there from Biglia, and this is something that we talked about. I've seen it with Milan time and time again this season when we're covering their games. Sometimes a bit lackadaisical, and in that position it can be suicidal.
Higuaín with some space, early ball through, driven low, and a kick save to deny Perotti. Again Buffon to the rescue. Jorginho. Again back to the Imbitumba man. Overlap is on. Insigne just got away from him. And as he cannonballs into the Argentina defense, they steal it away and go the other way. Higuaín help left and right. Draws the attention. Dishes for Lanzini. Oh, what a goal. Freezing Buffon and burying it near post. A debut goal. And he brings out the hammer.
With everyone forward for Italy, that defense stretched. A 3-on-2. Higuaín with options to either side as he's going on the break. Lanzini's off to his left. He plays it in perfectly, but look at this hesitation right there. The hesitation just to try to get Buffon to cheat to one side, and then he tucks in near post. I think Buffon was looking for that ball to go across goal. But that hesitation right there, it's terrific work from the West Ham attacking midfielder.
And what is Rugani doing?
Well, he's thinking that the shot's coming first time. And he was bamboozled just like Buffon. What a goal and what a way, as one of those fringe players, Phil, to really make a massive statement to Sampaoli, saying, take me to Russia.
First goal coming in the 75th, and Aber Banega's insertion has made an impact, and now a second from Lanzini, who, as we mentioned, has been mobile and dangerous.
playing on both flanks, started off on the right, now popping up on the opposite side.
Trying to hustle back and win it. Belotti has come in. Would guess for Insigne. Well, Jorginho is the player that's come out. They've taken out a midfielder and stuck in another forward. Because we all know how well the 4-2-4 has worked in the past for Italy.
Yeah, especially when you go to Spain and try to employ it against a 5-man midfield, as Ventura learned the hard way.
It's a game of keep away now for Argentina. 3.5 minutes left in regulation. Sampaoli, who again had 6 subs to use, is elected to go with only 3 at this point. Anything after this point is just time wasting if he elects to. And the full complement now done for Luigi Di Biagio. Next sub coming in for Argentina. Some help defensively as Gabi Mercado ready to check in. Rolled back for Biglia. Higuaín directing traffic. Would imagine the situation for Italy similar to that of the United States and other nations looking for a new coach, waiting till the World Cup is over. Higuaín, some fancy footwork, and uses his big body to some success against Belotti. Trying to sneak it in for the slashing Perotti, who comes back, but with the help of a foul. And it is Gabi Mercado getting set to check in.
Well, it's going to be a more defensive option at fullback. Mercado can play in a back 3 as one of the 3 center backs, but at Sevilla we've seen him as a fullback. He doesn't push as forward as the 2 that we saw today start from the first minute.
Bustos will come out after his debut, and the 21-year-old Independiente defender looked good.
Yeah, quite plucky as well. Always look to push forward.
Mercado.
2-goal advantage, Phil. No shame in bringing on Mercado, who is maybe a bit more disciplined defensively.
And also the age of 31, the experience and the willingness to be a player off the bench or in the starting lineup. A good clubhouse guy. Now for Italy, they do have those upcoming matches, not just the showdown at Wembley. There's the ball driven across for Bonucci. Saudi Arabia, France, and then the Netherlands, another team that is in a rebuilding mode before the World Cup gets underway and before the world restarts for Italy. At the moment, they're kind of stuck in purgatory.
That's a strange position to be in for the Azzurri.
Can they get a goal of honor here? Some consolation before they blow the final whistle. Desillo wins a throw in deep. Whipped up and driven over from distance.
Can't even imagine what it feels like to be essentially a glorified sparring partner. Not being able to go to Russia. No one's thinking about Euro 2020 next, which is the next major competition that Italy can partake in. Did quite well at the Euros with Antonio Conte as well. A lot better than what they showed at the World Cup 2 years prior to that. But with Conte in charge, Phil, I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of fans are calling out for him.
And that will do it. 90 minutes on the dot. Goals in the second half late. Banega with the first, and the debut goal for Lanzini. For Italy, well, they're still on the drawing board. For Argentina, they're one step closer to Russia. 2-0 the final at the Etihad. Well, what a way to make his debut appearance on the score sheet. Manuel Lanzini, the 25-year-old attacker. And Matteo, you look at what we've seen from Argentina today. Any questions answered? Any more raised?
Oh, you're always going to have the questions of who Sampaoli left at home, Phil. Especially Paulo Dybala, a player with his immense talent. That's going to certainly be a talking point to see what happens in the next coming weeks. Players like Lanzini now making a good case to be included. It's not going to start Lanzini, but maybe a spot on the bench. And for Italy, bit of a tough game to partake in, I'm sure. But a chance for them to just turn the page, turn the chapter, and give a chance to some of the up-and-coming stars who today just weren't able to be efficient in front of goal. That was the big difference in the end. Italy created the chances, but neither Insigne or Immobile, who had great chances, could have done much with them.
Well, there was a moment to remember a leader passed. Davide Storri memorialized before the start of this one. Gigi Buffon not quite ready for the statue yet.
No, absolutely not. Di Maria with a brilliant match, a slight deflection from Florenzi, but Buffon made 3 brilliant stops.
Another one here as he gets down quickly to deny Otamendi.
Winning the ball in the air, and again, Buffon showing his dexterity, coming back from international retirement just to give one final swan song. Then in the 39th minute, another chance for Argentina. So they were just looking to find a way to break down this low block of Italy. It's a shot from distance, which just goes wide. It was Paredes, one of the first times that he did venture forward. He even had a nice bend to it. It was nearly swinging to the inside. Another chance here is that shot stings Buffon's gloves once again. Attacking from all sides, Argentina. Tagliafico had a good showing, getting forward from his fullback position, making the overlapping run, providing the width, and there with a side-footed effort, testing Buffon. Now here's Di Maria, who really was creative, and here finds Higuaín, the teammate of Buffon. Another great stop. Argentina could have easily had a lead before the first half whistle. Take another look at that from Higuaín. Bit of a narrow angle there, as he wasn't able to beat Buffon. Now we're in the 48th minute. A shocking giveaway from Paredes. Immobile tucks it back to find Insigne. Maybe he loses his plant foot, but no excuses for the diminutive Neapolitan to not test Caballero from that position. Was perfectly onside. Defender got away from us as Otamendi had to put pressure on Immobile. And in the 49th minute, Di Maria cross to the far post. The header just going above the crossbar from the eventual goal scorer, Manuel Lanzini, who in the end had a positive performance, especially in the second half.
Interesting thing we see there, maybe a sign of things to come in the game. Looks like a fitter, Gonzalo Higuaín leading the break.
Oh, he's been great all season long. This is another one of the chances we mentioned. Italy not being able to be efficient with the chances they had in front of goal. Great ball from Verratti, always waiting for Immobile to make that run, but Caballero very quickly off his line. 75th minute, Banega 1-2 with Celso, gets the return ball, and he just passes it into the bottom corner. Finally, Argentina able to beat Buffon. Terrific work, though, from the man who came in, Banega, to make that forward run down the middle. 85th minute, Higuaín leading the charge, a 3-on-2, looking around, options to the right and left. He picks out Lanzini, and take a look, hesitation right there, fakes the shot, freezes Rugani, and then he picks out that top corner at the near post to make it 2-0.
With that first give and go to start the goal for Banega, now finishes one from Higuaín, and on a day where they did not even put Lautaro Martinez or Angel Correa on the field, a day they did not even dress Sergio Aguero or Lionel Messi, Argentina able to come away with a 2-0 win in Manchester against Italy. And again, plenty to celebrate for the Albiceleste, for the Azzurri, not so much.